Today, we invite you to explore the world of economics in a way you've never heard before. This is not about crunching numbers or memorizing theories. This is about understanding the real forces that shape your life every single day. Basic Economics by Thomas Sowell is a modern classic, praised for stripping away jargon and making complex economic principles crystal clear. By the end of this audiobook summary, you'll walk away with a sharper lens through which to view the world. You'll understand why prices rise and fall, what politicians often overlook, and how seemingly good intentions can lead to disastrous consequences. Let's begin our journey into the core ideas of one of the most important economics books ever written. Part 1. The essence of economics. Sowell starts by defining economics in the simplest possible terms. It's the study of how societies use scarce resources that have alternative uses. That idea of scarcity is central. There's not enough of everything to go around, so choices must be made. And with every choice, there's a trade-off. Sowell emphasizes early on that there are no perfect solutions, only trade-offs. That statement becomes a recurring theme. Take rent control. At first glance, capping rent sounds compassionate, but dig deeper and you see that artificially low rents discourage new construction and maintenance, reducing the supply and quality of housing. The people rent control aims to help often end up hurt the most. The first few chapters also reveal a critical insight. People respond to incentives. Raise the minimum wage, and some employers may hire fewer workers. Offer subsidies, and more people might claim them than expected. Understanding human behavior is key to understanding economics. Prices, Sowell explains, are not arbitrary. They carry vital information about supply and demand, and they guide both producers and consumers. Tampering with prices, through price controls or subsidies, disrupts that flow of information and leads to unintended consequences. This opening section teaches us to look past the surface and consider second-order effects. It's not enough to ask, what will this policy do? We must ask, what will people do in response? Part 2. How markets work. With the foundation set, Sowell dives into how free markets operate. The beauty of the market is its ability to coordinate countless decisions without central direction. Millions of individuals make choices about what to buy, sell, or produce, and prices adjust accordingly. In a market economy, profits and losses serve as signals. If a company produces something people value, it earns profits and is incentivized to do more. If it produces something unwanted, it incurs losses and must adapt or fail. This process, though imperfect, tends to allocate resources more efficiently than centralized planning. Sowell contrasts this with command economies, where decisions are made by planners rather than markets. History shows that these systems often result in shortages, surpluses, and wasted resources. The key failure? Lack of price signals. Without them, planners can't know what people actually want or need. He also discusses international trade and debunks the myth that trade is a zero-sum game. Rather than one country winning at another's expense, trade allows both parties to benefit. It enables countries to specialize in what they do best, creating more total wealth than isolation ever could. In these chapters, Sowell makes it clear: the freer the market, the more efficiently resources are used. But that doesn't mean markets are perfect, just that the alternatives are usually worse. Part 3. The role of government. As the book progresses, Sowell shifts focus to the government's role in economic life. He acknowledges that some government intervention is necessary, enforcing contracts, protecting property rights, and maintaining the rule of law. But he warns that excessive interference can distort incentives and create more harm than good. He takes on minimum wage laws, rent control, and agricultural subsidies, showing how these policies often benefit politically connected groups while hurting the poor and powerless. For example, subsidies to farmers may stabilize incomes, but they often lead to overproduction and higher prices for consumers. Sowell explains that policymakers are often driven by political incentives, not economic logic. They may implement policies that look good on the surface, but ignore deeper, longer-term effects. He calls this the difference between stage 1 thinking and thinking beyond stage 1. Regulations, while sometimes necessary, can also become tools of favoritism. Businesses may lobby for rules that protect them from competition. When the government becomes a gatekeeper, corruption and inefficiency follow. This section leaves listeners with a deeper understanding of how well-meaning policies can backfire and why good economics often makes for bad politics. Part 4. Myths and Fallacies. Sowell now takes aim at popular misconceptions. One major myth is the idea of price gouging during disasters. While it seems unethical to raise prices in a crisis, higher prices actually encourage conservation and bring more supplies to where they're needed most. Artificially holding prices down can lead to empty shelves and hoarding. Another fallacy is the belief that income differences are inherently unfair. Sowell argues that people differ in skills, experience, and choices. Equal outcomes don't necessarily reflect a just society. What matters more is equal opportunity. He also addresses the gender wage gap, noting that many statistics ignore factors like hours worked, job type, and years of experience. Simplistic comparisons often miss the real picture. Immigration is another hot topic. Sowell shows that the economic impact depends on who the immigrants are, what skills they bring, and how easily they integrate into the workforce. Blanket statements about immigration, either positive or negative, miss the nuance. In debunking these myths, Sowell reinforces the importance of looking at facts, not feelings. Economic truths are often uncomfortable, but ignoring them leads to flawed policy. Part 5. Applying economic thinking. In the final chapters, Sowell challenges readers to apply economic thinking to all areas of life. From education to healthcare to the environment, the same principles hold: scarcity, trade-offs, and incentives. In education, for instance, pouring more money into schools doesn't guarantee better outcomes. What matters more is how resources are used. Incentives for teachers, accountability for schools, and parental choice all play a role. In healthcare, Sowell critiques systems that aim for universal coverage without addressing costs. He argues that without prices to ration services, demand will outstrip supply, leading to long wait times and rationing by other means. Environmental policies, too, require trade-offs. Saving one species might mean harming another. Restricting energy use may have economic consequences for the poor. These are complex issues, and Sowell urges us to think beyond slogans and consider real-world effects. Ultimately, basic economics is a call to think clearly, to ask not just what sounds good, but what works, to look beyond intentions and examine results. Conclusion: your new economic lens. You've just completed a journey through Basic Economics by Thomas Sowell. Hopefully, you now see the world with sharper eyes. Behind every price tag, every policy, and every paycheck, there are trade-offs and incentives at play. If this summary gave you a fresh perspective, consider diving into the full book for even deeper insights. And if you found value here, be sure to follow the Wisdom Vault for more summaries that sharpen your mind and fuel your curiosity. Thanks for listening. Until next time, keep thinking clearly and stay curious.